For centuries, people have been fascinated by the Shroud of Turin. But in August 2024, a new investigation revealed some surprising discoveries. The Shroud of Turin is a piece of cloth believed to have been used to wrap Jesus after his crucifixion. Researchers from Italy's National Research Council's Institute of Crystallography have been studying it. The public first saw the shroud in the 14th century, but many critics believe it's not that old and could be a medieval creation, not a true relic from the time of Christ. According to the Bible, after Jesus was wrapped in this cloth, Joseph of Arimathea placed him in a tomb, where he later rose from the dead. The shroud has puzzled many people. On it, there's a faint image of a man, which doesn't appear to be painted. Some blood is visible, but not all of it is actual blood. The image looks like a photographic negative, which is why it's so unique. It shows a man who appears to have been tortured, crowned with thorns and crucified, and is estimated to be between 5 and 7 feet tall. What makes it even more mysterious is that the image seems to have been created by light, not paint. Photography didn't exist in the 14th century, so how could this be? This is where things get interesting. A recent study has uncovered new information that could change our understanding of the shroud. The study found that blood evidence on the shroud matches the torture Jesus is believed to have endured. Researchers discovered tiny particles linked to muscle contractions caused by extreme pain, which support the idea that Jesus experienced severe suffering. The shroud shows bloodstains consistent with the wounds from the crucifixion, on the hands, feet, and body, and even a wound on the chest, which matches the post-mortem spear wound described in the Bible. Julio Fati, an associate professor of mechanical and thermal measurements at the University of Paua's Department of Industrial Engineering, has been leading studies on the famous Shroud of Turin since 2004. Many research projects have been done on the shroud, and according to his website, a portion of the funding came from an unnamed religious group. This group asked him to examine the Padre Pio handkerchief, which is believed to bear miraculous images of Saint Pio of Pietrelcina and Jesus Christ. In one study, Christian Privitera, an engineer, found something nearly transparent between the threads of the blood-stained shroud. The study suggested that this substance could be the fluid from pulmonary edema, which is when excess fluid builds up in the lungs. Other researchers have also supported this idea after examining the Shroud of Turin. The theory is connected to what is believed to have happened during Jesus' crucifixion. Both tradition and science agree that the Shroud of Turin is the fabric that covered Jesus' face after his death. In a detailed examination, it was found that the man in the shroud had a sunken right eye and a vertical mark above a wrinkled eyelid, suggesting he may have been struck in the head. This matches the Gospel accounts of Jesus' suffering, particularly the whipping. Between 55 and 74 AD, experts compared the Shroud of Turin to samples of medieval linen from the 13th and 14th centuries, when the 1988 study suggested it was made. But there were significant differences between the samples, indicating the shroud likely comes from the 1st century, possibly from the time of Jesus' crucifixion. Dr. Labura D. Caro, the study's lead investigator, explained that fabric samples are often contaminated, making carbon-14 dating less reliable. This is why more accurate dating methods are now used. New studies suggest the Shroud of Turin could actually be the cloth that covered Jesus. The shroud has fascinated people for centuries, with its mysterious image that looks like a photographic negative, which is surprising given the technology of its time. Many dismissed it as a fake, but recent research shows it may be ancient and authentic. This can be mind-blowing and hard to believe for some, including religious people. Another mysterious relic is the tilma of Our Lady of Guadalupe, which has lasted over 500 years despite being made from a fragile material. It even survived a bomb attack in the 20th century, while a nearby crucifix bent as if protecting it. The eyes of the image on the tilma reflect the room where it's displayed, adding to its mystery. People debate whether these relics are miracles or just superstitions. Some argue religion is more abstract, while others find evidence of miraculous events in things like the shroud and the tilma. A passage from Corinthians says, "The Greeks seek wisdom, the Jews seek signs, but we preach Christ crucified." This suggests that God's power and wisdom are beyond human understanding. For some, these relics are proof that the Bible and church teachings might be more than just theory. They could be real, showing that faith and a certain way of life may have true significance. This idea can be surprising and even unsettling, but it may lead people to see religion as more than just personal belief. Understanding God comes through revelation and morality. The Shroud of Turin has remained a subject of scientific, religious, and cultural intrigue, holding a significant place in the broader context of Christian relics. Some consider it the ultimate evidence of Christ's crucifixion, while others question its authenticity, making it a symbol of both faith and skepticism. The blend of art, science, and theology surrounding the shroud continues to draw people from all walks of life, each bringing their interpretations, hopes, and doubts. The mystery that surrounds the shroud is enhanced by the seemingly unexplainable characteristics of the image on the cloth. Unlike traditional artwork of the medieval period, the image on the shroud doesn't appear to be created by hand using paint or any known medium of the time. The negative-like quality of the image led to the hypothesis that it might have been created by a burst of light energy, something akin to a photographic process, but this was centuries before the invention of photography. This anomaly has baffled scientists and researchers alike, leaving open the question of how such an image could have been produced. Adding to the puzzle, the bloodstains on the shroud correspond closely with what we know about Roman crucifixion practices and the specific injuries described in the Gospel accounts of Jesus' death. The placement of the blood around the hands, feet, and chest aligns with the nail and spear wounds suffered by someone undergoing crucifixion. Researchers who have studied the shroud under modern Another area of study has been the textiles themselves. Scholars of ancient fabrics have compared the weave and composition of the linen in the shroud with other historical samples. Some suggest that the weave of the shroud aligns more closely with fabrics found in the Middle East around the 1st century rather than those of medieval Europe. Critics of the shroud often cite the carbon dating performed in the 1980s, which placed the cloth's creation in the medieval era. However, those who believe in the shroud's authenticity argue that contamination from centuries of handling, fires, and environmental exposure could have skewed the dating results. One of the most compelling aspects of the Shroud of Turin is its ability to attract attention. It's a tangible connection to the life and suffering of Jesus Christ. For skeptics, it remains a fascinating historical mystery that challenges our understanding of ancient and medieval history. Whether the Shroud of Turin is a genuine relic of Jesus' crucifixion or a masterfully created artifact from the Middle Ages, its impact on both religious belief and scientific inquiry is undeniable. Each discovery and analysis brings us closer to unraveling its secrets, but with every answer comes new questions. In many ways, the shroud serves as a reminder of the limits of human understanding and the ongoing search for truth in the intersection of faith and science. As we continue to explore its mysteries, the Shroud of Turin will likely remain a subject of fascination and debate for generations to come. The debate over the Shroud of Turin's authenticity taps into larger questions about the nature of faith, evidence, and the miraculous. Throughout history, relics have served as focal points for religious devotion, providing believers with physical manifestations of their spiritual convictions. The shroud, with its haunting image and mysterious properties, fits squarely into this tradition. However, It also raises questions for those who seek a rational, scientific explanation for everything. The Shroud is a perfect case study of the tension between belief in the unseen and the desire for empirical proof. Relics like the Shroud are not unique to Christianity. Similar objects are found in many religious traditions, serving as bridges between the physical and the spiritual realms. In many cases, these objects are believed to contain the power of the divine, whether through direct contact with holy figures or through the miraculous events surrounding them. The Shroud of Turin, with its deep connections to the story of Christ, stands as one of the most important and debated of these relics. Whether or not it is ultimately proven to be the burial cloth of Jesus, its impact on the world's religious and scientific communities is already profound. As we move forward in our understanding of the Shroud, both as an artifact and as a religious symbol, it will continue to challenge our perceptions of history, science, and faith. The ongoing investigations into the Shroud of Turin offer a unique opportunity to explore the intersections of these disciplines, and each new discovery has the potential to reshape our understanding of the past. Whatever the ultimate truth about the Shroud may be, it will remain an enduring symbol of the mysteries of faith and the human desire to understand the world around us.